welcome to Marketing Unlocked. It's so good to have you here. How are you today?
Doing great, Jessica. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Really good to have you both here in your Tack merch. I'm loving it, and I'm feeling pretty left out that I do not have one of the hats.
We can make that change, right, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll send you one.
Awesome, awesome. So the first thing I want to get stuck into is what is it that you two do to get paid today? And I'm going to give that to Mark.
Yeah, teach. Teach. I mean, that's the easiest way to think about what Tack does. We do that in a one-to-many way, in a one-to-few way, in a one-to-one way. And then if you follow that with like implement, we help people take what we're educating them about when it comes to people first go to market and just growing a business overall. And how do you actually implement it within the context of your team, your company, the market, your ICP, whatever that might be. You can think of Tack as on-demand go-to-market services, strategy, execution, but all of that is built on this foundation of teaching, educating, adding value first, and hopefully like teaching people enough so that when we might end up like stop working with them or whatever the circumstance is, they now understand it enough to keep doing it and growing it on their own.
So within that, you mentioned people first go to market. For anybody listening who's not heard you or seen any of your stuff about this, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. I'm going to have Nick chime in as well. I mean, the simplest way we define it is it's a business strategy that helps companies create, capture, and convert demand into revenue using relationships and partnerships. So relationships and partnerships are the foundation of how people first GTM should be brought to life. And it's about putting people at the center of every interaction and experience. And we developed this model that we could unpack if you'd like to kind of help people understand how to first use the idea of relationships and partnerships to power these three channels that we feel are critical to being more people first, to shifting from a company first go to market to a people first go to market, and then using three types of offers that are there to help build trust, activate an audience, educate an audience, deepen that relationship with an audience or a person. So it's those 7 kind of overall strategies that make up the people first go to market model. But yeah, I'd love to have Nick chime in too and give his point of view.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you definitely covered it. I think it comes back to like there's really 6 people first go to market principles. So, and ironically enough, it spells people when you do it, but people, which is like be collaborative and supportive, empathy, so be kind and thoughtful, originality, so be your authentic self, presence, be in the moment, learning, be the student and the teacher, and experience, be memorable. So when you put all of those together, all 6 of those, it actually spells people when you spell out, take the first letter of each word. So, and it's ultimately partnering with people. It's the heart of the motto. It's the ecosystem that we live in today.
Nice. I really like that. And I like the acronym there in terms of people. So when you talk about those principles and helping customers in that way, what does that actually look like? Is it a framework? Is it a strategy? What makes up those principles, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, I could jump in. I mean, it's ultimately we're helping with really like 4 things. Well, I guess going back, so Tack is a media and marketing firm, and so there's really 3 core pillars to the entire business that all tie back to people first. So the first piece is a media network. Ultimately, we're a media network. It hasn't fully launched yet, but I will be launching it soon. And so everything within that media network will tie back to like a people first kind of like mindset. Second piece is the membership led experience. So like we run Club PF. We have about 150 members in there right now. And so there's all different types there's probably about 75 different frameworks, processes right now, everything that's in there that, between Mark's career, my career, others that we've kind of come across and worked on, we've put those in there for members so that they can actually get started on utilizing a lot of these things. And then the third piece is that marketing services component. So we offer really 4 go-to-market packages. So positioning and messaging, demand creation, demand capture, and marketing leadership. And again, tying each of those 4 packages back to all of like the people first, kind of like one of the 7 kind of go-to-market principles.
Yeah, I mean, people first go to market is a different approach to how to bring a new business into a market, to evolve a business. I mean, the old way of going to market is very company first, right? You would do it mostly on your own as a business. You would try to build a product, find a market, and find the problems in the market that product is helping serve, right? It's like those three things. You align those three things, you're good. But not so much anymore, right? Because there's so many ways now you can start a business within like a day. And I know that sounds crazy, but AI is going to make business creation even easier. So know what that means? That means distribution gets that much harder because there's more businesses, all sorts of businesses. Some businesses are going to be literally run by just AI. It's going to be insane. And that means then, like, how are you going to find your path to revenue? So there's going to be more digital noise every time a new kind of technological innovation happens. So if you look at the actual trend in terms of the data growth that should happen across the next 10 years, data growth is going to exponentially grow every year. There's going to be more data created that's put into the cloud, that's put across the internet than ever before. So this brand spam that's coming from these businesses that exist today that they're going to start is just going to amplify. So this company first approach of like a lot of just brand first kind of spam and crappy content and subpar messaging, and all of this focus on just like, we need more leads, we need to increase our transaction volume, all these things. It's such a wrong mindset because of what I just mentioned, plus many other things that are happening, right? The stuff that happened with the pandemic, the channel saturation, content explosion, interest rates. I mean, there's just all these different pressure and force coming down on business. So they need a new way. And to Nick's point on these principles, we developed these 6 principles to first say, here's how to think about your go-to-market in a little bit more of an abstract way, but that you can use and teach your teams about how to more humanize what you're doing and resonate more with the people you're trying to resonate with, and build a sense of belonging, a sense of community, and this trust, right? Ultimately, it comes down to trust, right? If you don't trust something, or if you lose trust in something, it's kind of game over, right? If you lose trust in a service because the product fails to deliver something, or someone at the company fails to deliver great support and service for that product, that might end the relationship right there, right? It's done. It's over. So I think this idea of company first, it's more fragile than ever before, right? And so now people first, when you think about these principles, it's how do you make sure that all of these interactions and experiences follow those principles and use these 7 kind of growth strategies within the model to actually help you create, capture, and convert demand into revenue. And ultimately, what we're trying to help businesses do is create a really strong word of mouth. I don't want to say channel, but word of mouth magnet. Because word of mouth is the ultimate, probably one of the ultimate, if not the ultimate ways that someone is going to believe and trust that this business can help them, right? Especially if it comes from someone that they already trust, right? So word of mouth is one. Strengthening the brand overall is one outcome of this whole model and approach. And then, of course, there's this idea of ecosystem growth, ecosystem development. The more you activate people and create these connections between people within the network of the business, the community that surrounds the business, the more you're going to find people start to self-organize, that start to kind of create their own nodes in that network. And we're already seeing this in Club PF, right? The community and club that is part of Tack, where there's some people that are self-organizing within about 150 membership community. And that's what we want, right? That's going to happen. And that's what's going to happen at any business that takes this approach. And then those little nodes start to kind of spawn off and connect to other things. And the network just starts to grow and the ecosystem kind of starts to grow as well. So yeah, it's a mindset shift. It's an operational shift. It requires a lot of education, and our job is to hopefully help educate people along with all the members in the club and the people that are part of the Tack crew that deliver on-demand go-to-market services. Like our goal, going back to your first question, Jessica, it's education.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And there's just so much to unpack there. The first thing I'll say is congratulations in advance for your media network launch. I'm looking forward to seeing that. The other thing is, it sounds like obviously with a mindset shift, there's going to be people who are reluctant to change and probably don't see the value in doing what you guys are saying to do. Have you come across anything like that? Is it certain people within businesses that are reluctant to take this on, or is everyone kind of like, yeah, you're absolutely right. We need to tackle this. We need to implement this. We need to shift our mindset on this. What's the general consensus there?
I think people have been doing people first go to market, like without actually knowing they were doing people first go to market. Like if you think about it, you don't have to be a B2B company to do people first. Like you could be a coffee shop. It's really, again, about like the meaningful interactions. It's about the relationships. It's about how do you make it all about like quality versus quantity. It's the people that are stuck in like the old school mindset of like a company first go to market, or the people that probably don't believe in marketing. It's these like CEOs that don't get marketing, that are very transactional. Like one of the things that bothers me, and this is an easy fix if you want to even get started with like a people first, is just putting transparent pricing on your website. It's as simple as that. Like I don't want to sit in 3 calls before I get pricing for your product. Like just give it to me up front. Like let me know. Let me self-select my own way out if it's not going to fit my budget. Why are you going to bombard me with SDRs and BDRs and AEs and waste all of our time when I'm probably not even going to end up buying? So there's like simple things like that, and like simple things like the ability to send a marketing email from an actual human, not from a marketing alias, which I was talking to someone the other day, and they sent a very important email, which they were supposed to send and pick up the phone and like actually call people. They sent it from an alias and infuriated their customer base, who were incredible advocates of the product actually, and turned a lot of them off just by doing that. So it's small, subtle shifts to be able to get there. But again, it's the people that are stuck in that old school playbook are the same people that can't adapt to 2023 and beyond.
I want to get back into like the principles and people first and the reluctance, but I just want to ask you real quick, because I'm really intrigued, because you mentioned about LinkedIn and people and that sort of stuff. What's like a marketing buzzword or industry jargon that you just cannot stand, or you find that's just overused by like the self-professed LinkedIn gurus?
I mean, I would say like overnight success. That's something that I see all the time. It's like, people want to be like Justin Welsh. They see him, or Dave Gerhardt, like all these Chris Walker, all these big names. People want to be like them. And it's like, one, it's going to take you years to get to like where they were. But it's like a lot of these gurus online, they sell these courses and all these additional features by telling you you're going to have overnight success, which is completely wrong in the first place. But it's like, you can't compare yourself to those that are like that much further ahead of you, especially when it comes to like online and like seeing these people that look like they're doing incredibly successful. It's like, why can't I get 1,000 likes in 10 minutes like Justin Welsh? It's just, one, we're completely different people, and he's very much got the content piece down, but we talk about different stuff. We're at different journeys, all that stuff. But I don't know, that was always something that bothered me. And like the other thing I would say is like, everyone's saying that stuff is dead. Email's dead. Webinars are dead. MQLs are dead. Like everyone just likes to self-proclaim that like a channel is dead. So like you're just not using the channel the right way.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I've never even really considered overnight success, but I bet now you've said it, I'm going to see that everywhere. So yeah, thanks for that. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off that, I hate seeing things when people are sharing thoughts and advice when they haven't done the job. Like when they actually haven't done the thing that they're talking about, and they're not like, at a level of mastery around it. I mean, I spent 15 years operating in companies before I even thought that I could maybe do something like we're doing with Tack now, right? Like that's, people, you got to put in the reps and sets and show that you've actually built something that has created like big impact. And you need to have gone through the process. And people who don't go through the process and don't have that experience, I am highly skeptical of them. And I would suggest everyone else be highly skeptical of them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's that thing as well where something new happens, something new comes out. And I don't know if you remember when ChatGPT first came out, everyone sort of jumped on LinkedIn and was like, follow me immediately because I have the best prompts and I can help you. And it was just like every time something new comes out, you always get those like 10 to 15 people who jump on it and claim that they're the experts. And I'm like, how can you be an expert when it's been there for like a couple of days or a week? Like how I don't know. Some people obviously feel very confident in saying that. And I always find that like really crazy.
Yeah, it's like the same people that say like, oh, you can make six figures like running this chat GPT like stuff that I've been running. Like they were running it for like a week and like they haven't even made six figures off. It's like people are selling false dreams and like that's the furthest that's now talk about transactional. That's very transactional. And it's like these people have the wrong mindset. Like they're not like I've been creating content for 4 years on LinkedIn. Like I gave everything away for free. Never gated anything, gave it all away, jumped on calls, and like it's now at the point where I'm at the point where like I'm asking, like people are coming inbound, like now we have a business, we're trying to make actual money off of it. But I would say a catalyst of that was doing this for the last 3.5 years and hopefully again focusing on the relationships with all of this people. And I view LinkedIn as a community, building the community, building the audience, building people that trust who I am and what I say and what I stand for, so that when I do have something to sell them, yeah, I'm not, jumping out saying, hey, go, sign up with Tack. Like every single one of our clients has been inbound to us so far. And again, it just goes to show like when you're building those personal brands and your audience over time, it pays off.
Yeah, the most important thing to do is to do it and teach it. So if those people talking about things aren't or have not done it and aren't teaching it in a deep way, that's why we're all in a people first go to market. Like we're going to get very deep. We're going to have courses, certifications. I'm working on one like right now. We just released this new map, just people first GTM map in the club. Like today, it's in a beta kind of version. Like if you don't see someone doing it for a long time, like years, and they're not constantly teaching and helping people when it comes to that thing, again, I'd be highly skeptical. Because, and like, look, like you can maybe, and let me take that back. Highly skeptical of like what Nick said in terms of like, here's how you can do this to make this type of money. If they don't have like examples and results to show of it, then like, yeah, it's extremely highly skeptical. But if they're just getting going and you see them doing it and you see them teaching, and that teaching and doing is creating a, what's the right word? Creating interest with other people, and those people start to do it and see it and teach it, then there's something there, because that belief has spurred action with other people, even though it's very early, and it's probably a adaptation of some other type of belief. And I'm the first to say that people first GTM is an adaptation of inbound marketing. Absolutely. It is absolutely an adaptation of that. It is a much more wide aperture of what inbound marketing is, but it's definitely inspired by that, inspired by other things as well, right? Because like everything for the most part these days is just a new kind of evolution of something that's happened, unless you're in like a scientific field, which I highly respect and, somewhat jealous sometimes of those people that are doing stuff with math and physics and biology, because that's really where like humanity progress is made, or progress of humanity is made. But anyway, I digress. Like the point is, you don't always have to wait like years. If you see something happening and there's people getting behind it, and that happening and that doing and teaching is starting to take shape, then yeah, like maybe you should just like check it out and like see what's going on. And like in Jessica, that's kind of like what happened with you, right? With how we kind of got connected here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you. I want to go back to people first, go to market, and sorry, I'm jumping around a bit, but when you're having these engagements with people, when these people are coming in inbound, obviously, my background is marketing, but is it predominantly the marketing teams that are coming to you, the marketing leaders? How does that work with sales? Like, obviously there's always this thing about like sales and marketing not working together, working against each other. what's your experience so far with like implementing people first with sales teams? Are you coming up against anything there, or is it fairly smooth?
We haven't really done anything with sales teams yet, Nick, have we? Not so much.
No, I mean we interact with the sales teams. Like we have a lot of clients. Obviously, I'll give you a few examples. Like, so we're building out like an ABM strategy, and obviously, we're very interlocked with the sales organization on that piece of it. But I would say, we partner with like CEOs, founders, and marketing leaders. Now, obviously, you can't have success on revenue without partnering with your sales counterparts, and even I would say CS as well. But we haven't done like explicit stuff with sales. It's always just kind of like rolled under where we need them as part of like a larger strategy. And like they're bought into like the vision and everything. But I wouldn't say we get super deep with them either.
Interesting. That's really cool. And I guess when you're implementing something like that, an operating rhythm, as you said, an operational system, it would make sense that, CEO, founder, and that sort of stuff. Cool. Okay. I also want to like take a little bit of a step back. So looking back at your early days in your career, what is probably one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were talking to your younger self now?
I would say don't be afraid of failure. So many people early on in their career, like, I don't know, maybe they had a bad experience where like their manager or like a CMO or executive like pointed a finger. It was like, why didn't this campaign work? But if you think about like a successful campaign launches, but think about how many failures probably happened before that to get to like that big like successful launch. And sometimes it's a very small amount, sometimes it's none, but there's usually always failures in your career. And it's like, what can you do to take those failures and learn from them to pull something forward? And that was always something that was important to me. It was like, hey, listen, like I'm okay with failing as long as I learn. And if you're not failing, you're not really trying to step outside your comfort zone either. It's like, yeah, I could run the same playbook that I've ran for years, but the playbook that worked even 3 years ago doesn't work in today's economy. So
yeah. And if I had to direct that question at you, Mark, in terms of giving some advice to your younger self, if you could go back, what would that be?
Just more patience, and these like 7 or 8 words that all begin with P that I think a lot about all the time. Patience is one, perspective is one, perseverance, purpose, principles. They're all kind of related to this kind of idea of people first, but I think most people these days, and technology is a big enabler of this, they're not patient. Like look at Klaviyo, who just went public. I mean, that's like, overnight success story. No, it's like 12 or 15 years or something like that, right? Like this is not, this takes time. This takes a lot of time to create something that has durability, endurance. For something to become iconic, it doesn't just happen in a few years. Like time is one of the things that creates an icon or something iconic, right? So yeah, how to make a great tasting, with really deep and rich flavor, doesn't matter, soup, dish, barbecue, it's time and patience, right? And I think there's not enough of that these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that it was kind of almost linked to that people first. It shows you everything happens for a reason. And what you're doing now is exactly what you should be doing. So what's next for Tack then? What's next for you guys? What's upcoming? Obviously you said about the media network launching, which is really exciting, but what else can we look forward to?
I mean, we're going to have a free version of Club PF very soon. That's just going to be about people first go to market. Everything else that's in the club today, it's going to stay as member only, but it's going to be this huge kind of, enclave of people first go to market resources with some stuff that's of course reserved only for members as well. So that would be a big thing, but like, it's just educating more people. Like this is hopefully becoming a movement. And for a movement to take shape, you have to deploy, I hate to use the word deploy, but like you need to deploy different things to keep growing the belief. So that's in the form of both like resources, people, partnerships, relationships, etc. So we're trying to ultimately create an ecosystem around people first go to market. And One thing that we really got to do a lot more of, that we've started to, but we got to do a lot more of it. Nick and I have talked about this, is like sharing examples, because examples of this, they all over the place are happening, right? I have examples in my local community of businesses doing people first go to market by partnering with other businesses to do small mini events, or here's a crazy example of people first go to market. You go to the supermarket and they have those like samples, those free samples. Know what that is? That's product-led growth in person. You're trying a free trial of the product right then and there, and you're asking yourself, do I want to buy this? That is product-led growth. But people don't think of that like that. They're like, wait a minute, product-led growth is only for SaaS businesses. I'm like, no, that is not even close to correct. So it's just a whole mindset and shift that we want to partner with people on to bring to life. And the way that people learn, like we already talked about, is by doing things and teaching other people about it. But one of the most important ways to learn is through examples and stories. So that's a big thing that we're going to be focused on. It's why the Media Network is going to come to life. We want to bring stories and examples, the originality of what people are doing when it comes to this kind of movement, to the masses. We're going to do more of that in Club PF. So that's what I think is the exciting part of what's next.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, personally, I'm excited about the media network piece of it. It's something where it's like, you think about it, where else can you have where you bring a bunch of creators plus brands, you're like half matchmaker, half putting out content that actually moves people. And so I'm super excited about that piece. I mean, I'm launching a new show very soon. And it's one of my passions, and what I get really excited about is the creator economy in B2B. And so I'm launching an entire show about that, which is going to be really, really exciting, because again, going back to education, and the creators and influencers are a great example of people first. No one knows how to activate this channel to make it work. There's a very small number of companies that know how to activate this. B2C has it figured out. B2B is like severely lacking. But I do think we're going to see mass adoption in the next like 2 years. So if you can figure it out now, you're going to be way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And when you get that podcast up and running, that show up and running, I'm going to have to listen, because I definitely haven't got that figured out at all. And I really like the example that you said, Mark, as well, about the like the supermarkets having the free trial and how that links back to product growth. Because again, I never even considered that. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing some more information about what you guys are doing. If people want to connect with you, where's the best place to get in touch and find out more about the work you guys are doing?
Yeah, I would say tackgtm.com, clubpf.co, and then LinkedIn, our personal profiles as well.
That's great. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. And it was really great to chat with you today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.